Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Mysterious Podcast. I hope you all are well. Today's story is a true-based haunted story. Story 1. Few years ago, I lived in a 200-old house and mind you, I didn't know any history behind it. But eventually, I learned that it used to have a one-murder house next to it. But that was taken down years ago, decades even, and ever since there's a market. Of course, I didn't believe in ghosts and I was pretty excited to have a new place to live in until my brother and I started to see things. It was a nighttime, and I and my brother tea games or some sort in the kitchen since we couldn't fall asleep and wanted to have snacks. My back was facing the window and my brother was in front of me, so he could see the window very well. During the conversation, my brother went pale and stared at the window. His face showed true horror and he started to cry out loud. I quickly turned around, just to see what's going on. He kept saying she was behind the window, sis. I didn't see anyone but I was horrified enough and believed him because he for sure couldn't have faked a cry like that. Ext day, my brother had a friend over. They were hanging out in my mom's room and my mom with her friend were sitting in the kitchen. My brother and his friend were playing PlayStation till they fell asleep. I was half asleep so every noise sounded pretty sharp to me. Even the TV seemed pretty loud. However, I heard a very weird noise, like groans, and opened my eyes just to see a full silhouette of a little girl standing right in front of my brother, basically hovering him. I panicked and the girl noticed me and in an abnormal speed went or flew through the door which was fully closed. I tried to scream for my mom just to realize that I couldn't even scream. I somehow lost my voice for a few minutes. But nothing stopped me from running towards my mom and cry about what I have seen. After some time, a week before moving out, I was peacefully sleeping in my bed. But then I felt a very heavy pressure on my neck and I felt like someone was choking me and sitting on my chest. I wasn't paralyzed or frozen. I could move enough to try to remove something from me. Which I couldn't because that's a ghost. I struggled enough till I finally was able to breathe. And all of a sudden I heard a groan and loud thumps going towards the kitchen. I grabbed my phone because I wanted to call my mom, since she was working during the night and it was only me and my brother in the house, until I realized that it was burning hot. It was basically about to explode. My phone had a warning that it needs to immediately cool down. It has never happened before. I couldn't fall asleep and stayed up all night, waiting for my mom from work. Story 2. My father's old house was an old brick duplex with an unfinished separate room. The separate room was what you'd expect for a 1945s house, lacking anything besides storage spaces, laundry machine, and spiders. There was a space for the laundry at the base of the stairs, a little storage room to the left of it and then a path that led 11-ish feet back to the furnace. Corona period had my office down there for a while until the colder months exposed the poor insulation so I was comfortable enough being downy there, maybe every now and then would get the natural spooky basement vibes but nothing too crazy as long as I stuck to the laundry and storage space. There was something about the back area that I just didn't want to mess with. Not evil or dangerous, just not really my jam. And luckily I never really had a reason to go back there. A few months before I moved out I walked downstairs at night to change the laundry and the basement felt filled with static energy. I had a long day and just decided to barrel through whatever weird vibes I may have been picking up on and just coped with the notion it was lingering anxiety. I can remember this so fucking clearly. As I turn to walk up the stairs I just kind of freeze, holding the laundry basket in my hands I just see this image of an old woman walking down the hall behind me. She's covered in gray, very disheveled. I can't see her face because she's in shell type of deal. Imagine a 80-year-old woman wearing a blanket to stay warm. That's the best I can do to describe her. This entire time it feels like what I've heard of a night terror. I can see right in front of me but I'm seeing this woman walk up behind me. Physically it feels like a panic attack, and she's just getting closer, one arm extended. And as I stand there her arm touches my shoulder. I see it. I don't feel her hand but immediately I am just overwhelmed by sadness. I can see half of her face in my mind and her mouth is open, just wailing and sad. Again, I don't hear it but I feel it, and I know that makes no sense. I felt sick, and just remember saying fucking no and forced my foot forward. I ran up the stairs and hunched over my counter in the kitchen and had to do box breathing to come to. It was the most intense experience I had at the house. I felt someone else's emotions and I didn't like that experience. Friends, what is your experience? Have you ever had this experience? Please do share by commenting. If you want to podcast your story, then mail your story to us. Our mail ID is given in the description below. Thank you for the listing. Friends, how did you like the story? I liked it. Please like it and share. Or subscribe the channel. Stay tuned to our channel to hear more such stories. Thank you very much for listening to the story. And I'm not moving, I can't focus on anything besides her.